I was contacted by Temu again after my last video. They asked me if I wanted to do another collaboration. Temu, if you don't know, is a pretty big online retailer. You can go through their website. They sell all kinds of stuff from different brands. Last time they actually gave me a really good coupon code that you can basically put into the app on your phone. Basically put that in there and you get a discount. They did a very similar thing this time here. They basically gave me a rough estimate of how much I should spend. And then they basically let me go through the app, pick the things that I wanted, and then I can do a kind of a build here. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how to get the Temu app. I had to delete it so I could show you guys because I already have it on my phone. I've obviously used it to get this video and used it before in the past. So you just come in here. For me, it's download, but you're just gonna go in here and search for Temu. It'll pop up, right? Go like that there. But for you guys, you come in here and you set up an account, obviously. Now, what you can do is come in here like that. We do have a code that we're going to use in this video. You guys can use this and you'll also get a discount. Basically, you're going to get a $100 coupon bundle, just like I did on my last video. So it's pretty cool here. So you just come in here. This is the code for this video. So you go in here, you go DPQ9238. You can see that there. And you hit search. This is just in the search menu here. You go like that there. It pops up, boom. $100 coupon bundle. I don't know if it's going to work for me because I'm not right. So it'll log in, you'll get your account, all that, and then you can see obviously the things I bought here. So this is the coupon bundle. You get a bunch of coupons up here. I can't use them because they're not relevant to me because I've already bought things through Temu. So, but this is for new users. If you're a new user, you can see up here the different types of coupons you get here. So one of them, for example, you get $25 off 50, which is sweet. You get $15 off 75, that's sweet. $15 off 75, sweet. So just a bunch of them, right? 30 off 100, that's good. That's 30% off straight up. 25 off 50 is 50% off. That's pretty sweet. But you guys can come in here and you can pick, different deals here. You can get GameSir. That's a really nice keyboard, little controller there. All kinds of good stuff in here, right? So it's going to give me recommendations, like because I do tech stuff, so it knows. This one's a little bit different. I'm not just showcasing kind of like office upgrades. I don't have a desktop computer right now. I've been actually just using a laptop as kind of a daily driver. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna wait for them to send me this stuff and I'm gonna do a very, very low cost budget gaming desktop. It's not gonna be 100% from them because some of the stuff I picked up locally, but what I wanna showcase here is that, some of these components you can get here. I mean, you can buy them at big retailers, but they can often cost a lot of money or you just can't get them. I actually got a lot of the kind of finishing components to the system here and one primary one, and then I picked up some local stuff. So I have a few things here to show off. This here is a gigantic NVMe cooler, especially if you're going with Gen 5, which is coming out now. They're really fast. They can produce a lot of heat, but even some Gen 4 stuff can produce a ton of heat. I always wanted to try one of these kind of really large radiator style where you basically stick it on, you have airflow going through. You can get something like this. Is a really cool thing that I've decided to pick up here. Sometimes, especially if you get an MATX board, so a slightly smaller board, you often get, you get your PCI slot and some other slots, and then you maybe have one, if you're lucky, maybe two NVMe slots so for storage. This one here actually plugs into one of your PCI, your small PCI, not the Express, the small PCI. These are really cool, so that'll be a neat thing there. We can increase our storage. I don't think I'm gonna combine these. I'll probably put like a fairly, kind of medium and low end NVMe in this here. This one here, I'll put a nice fast SSD in there. I got this here because this is really cool. You can basically hook this up to a SATA SSD, so you can plug that in there, or hard drive, I guess, but technically for this one, I'm gonna do SATA SSD, and it plugs into USB-C. You plug in your SSD, SATA SSD, and your basic hooking right there. You also have a USB-A or USB-C, so this should be perfect for me, rather than having to go through the whole preamble every time I wanna hook up a SATA SSD. It's just one and done. This is cool. This is a little GPU bracket. I have a fairly large GPU that I'm gonna be putting in to the system, and it's all metal, it's very heavy. So GPU bracket seg is a thing. I don't necessarily always like the style that goes under the GPU. So, you put your GPU into your system and then you have a long bracket that goes underneath. They're fine, but I find them to be a pain. I don't necessarily like the way they look. I like these little tower style ones. Stick it in the corner of the drive. And so what happens is, this is stuck into your system and then you just pop this guy under there and it keeps it nice and sturdy, and you're not going to get GPU bracket. And these are great even if you have like a behemoth, like a 4090 or something. This is an Oracle, so this is a good brand. I've done Oracle stuff before on my channel. 2 hard drive slots there. I guess you could put in 2.5 or 3.5, because These are two different connectors there. So they sent me a case here. They have actually a lot of computer cases on the Temu website, and they actually look pretty good. Like they gave me a huge selection to pick from. I was kind of overwhelmed. There was like legitimately like, I think there was like 10 or 15 at the time, and I was just going through them and I was like, you know, this one looks cool. I think it'll fit kind of my plan here for what I'm doing here. So let's open this up here. We'll do a quick unboxing and then we will start to build. Okay, thumb screws out of the back there. Oh, and there's that. So obviously this is just a piece of metal. We do have a hard drive spot there. Do I have a hard drive? That's good there. Looks like you have power going out there. You can actually mount an SSD on top as well. This is well designed actually. Here. Oh, that came off way easier than I thought. Plastic there. So, you know, the air is going to be pulled in from here and out there. So it's not going to be like a full mesh case. It'll run a little bit warmer. Fits perfectly. Right snug to the bottom. A little bit of room on top if you want to put an AIO. You can definitely put an AIO in there. Okay, and I'm going to throw on some fans here. Now, they actually had a lot of fans on their website. I was going to buy some, but I actually had like packages of fans just kind of laying around from other builds, so I decided, you know, I don't need to. But again, if you need fans, you can just put them on here. I just want to show, you know, these are just standard 120 millimeter fans. We'll get those hooked up there. So you can definitely get 3 fans into this device here. On the front, you can see I have 2 right now. One going to go into basically the GPU. One's going to go into the CPU. But technically, you could put in 3. You could put 1, 2, 3. I think because I'm going to be using a probably an air fan, that's going to pull air through anyways. So that'll be fine for that. And then this will basically pump into the GPU. But again, you could put in 3 fans if you want there, 1 in the back, and you have room even for 2 in the top. So even though it's a fairly small case, there's a lot of room for fans in this thing here. That's actually pretty nice. Okay, and there we go. I've basically put the system together. I fired it up so it does work. You know, I could do more cable management here, but I just wanted to basically get it kind of working. You can see it's a pretty standard looking case. I mean, you get these little hook things that you can feed through. I put one through there. Lots of space over here to tuck extra wires on top of the hard drive. I did put a hard drive in there, you can see. And there's a look at the inside of the case. Not turned on yet, but you can see here. And it looks pretty good. I mean, it's a nice standard case. This is a pretty long GPU. I went with a 1080 instead of a 1080 Ti. The 1080 Ti actually fit too. There was a lot of room, but I just decided to use a 1080. I'm going to use a 1080 Ti for something else. It looks good, right? You can feed the wires through there. It all looks nice and clean. Potentially you want more storage, right? So I've used one of these types of things before here. It's basically just a PCI card, and you can see down on the bottom of the PCI right there. So you can do PCI full length, but these things are cool because they actually are pretty fast, and you can put one of these and plug it in there and actually put an NVMe on it, right? So that's really nice. I think for this system right now, what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to use this card for now, just to kind of show the concept of it. It's a little bit more foreign to people. I mean, this is just a huge cooling unit, which is really cool. So we get some thermal pads. It's kind of cool. It actually comes with, there's other thermal pads, like I said. So you can use those if you know, but it actually has a thermal pad on it. That looks good. Something like that. You'll get a lot of cooling out of this. See what we got here. So we get little screwdrivers. Not sure what that's for. They look pretty straightforward, and they kind of are. You get some capacitors, and you basically are just transferring data along the way. This is a pretty high-end drive for this. A video, but I never published it. So how does this go? So you go like that, basically go in there, and it's going to plug right in here. And you actually pop out one of these here, and it will screw it in to keep it nice and stable. Right, so you can screw it right into there. Right, I mean, like that's the easy way to do it, and that's in there now. And when we boot this up, in theory, that'll show up. I don't know if it will, but it should, in theory, show up. Some time has passed, and I built my own system finally. And you can see down there, I have the little heatsink thing there, and I actually have it hooked into that card as well. So I actually have that hooked up properly. It's nice because it's not going to block any, any of the fans or anything like that. Air is going to come back here and run through there. Okay, and as to be expected, obviously, the performance, like I said, on this one it's about twice as fast as you'd get out of a SATA drive. So you're not going to put in like a Gen 4 drive, right? Like this SSD can only do about 3,000 megabytes a second anyways. That's fine, right? You can see that's standard speed. It's going to be twice as fast as a SATA drive. And so realistically, it's going to be very good for gaming, which is actually what I'm going to use it for. These ones are in the system here, right? 36, 38, right? Look at how freaking cold that Brent rocket is. 26 degrees. And the Brent rocket is a hot running SSD. I actually use it in some of my tests because it runs so hot. That is literally the coldest I've ever seen a NVMe ever run in a system. So that thing works. I mean, it's a gigantic metal heatsink with a radiator on. There's air blowing through here. So I mean, unshockingly, it works well, and that card also works amazing. So now we'll get back to the original video, but I just wanted to cut this in to just show how sweet this thing is. What else do we have here? We do have a GPU bracket. This is, you can see it's already getting a little bit sick. The 1080 Ti is even heavier. I have a 7900 XTX, which, to be honest, is very long. And yeah, I actually ordered one of these as well. So that's the one from Temu. This is the one from Temu that I ordered before. I already had one. So that's the funny part. So this will go in the system, but I already have one. So I'm happy to use this in the system that goes to somebody else because I already have one. It's literally the same one because I ordered it last time. After I released my order, I did my collaboration and ordered some more stuff. So basically this goes like that. It is magnetized on the bottom. The top is not. And it just basically sits there, and then you get your little, look at that. Isn't that cute? It's actually straight. What else do we got here? We have a SSD connector. I will also test this. This one, again, is not going into the system. This is for me, personally. I always have SSDs that I swap stuff around. I don't always use NVMe enclosure. Sometimes I do. And you can move data around like this relatively easily, so that's really cool. We'll test this out as well in a moment or two with the system. Is this here, an Oracle hard drive docking station. You can do 2.5 or 3.5. On the back we have the USB-C, 5 gigabit per second, which is as fast as this will go. That's about 400 to 500 megabytes a second, which is as fast as these can go anyways, and it's faster than any hard drive anyways. Turn on button says start, so I guess you just turn it on, plug it in, clone. Oh, clones, if you can actually copy them. So if you put in one SSD, another SSD, you hit clone, it'll just copy the one to the other. I don't want to do that, but you can do that if need be. It's really nice to get like an actual glass, like this is not cheap feeling case. It's all metal, other than the plastic on the front, obviously, but the rest is all metal. It was very easy to work with doing the build. It was no different than building in a significantly more expensive case. I've done several builds even recently. Now we'll get the system turned on, booted. I mean, spoiler alert, I've already done this. This kind of inherits from a little bit of an older school type of case, or almost like a business PC, but you get just enough flash, right? Like you can throw in some fans. I threw in some RGB fans in there. Looking pretty nice. You get the glass siding. Okay, so we'll see what kind of scores we can get on this thing here with the case closed. With it open, I did that. First of all, it's really noisy with the case open because of that stupid Thermalright thing. So, I mean, because it has room for an AIO, you may want to put an AIO in here at the top, which would, be considerably quieter. Putting an AIO in here would dramatically reduce the noise because those are really noisy fans. Listen how much louder this gets here. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but it's really noisy. And that's nothing to do with the case. That's that cooler. You can see here how noisy that is. (56 dB). So the dB is down by, what is that, 6? So a considerable drop in noise, and 5 or 6 dB, I don't know if people know the dB scale, it's massive. Scores here are basically very close to being similar when it was closed. We'll just close this up here. You can see here, yeah, 15,317. I was getting about 15,600 when it was open. So there's definitely airflow going through there. Like it's maybe dropping the CPU performance, what would that be? 3%, 4% max with it closed. Temperatures, yeah, it's about the same on average as I was getting before. I was getting a little bit of throttling. So I mean, the thing is, it is pulling in air, right? So the case here is actually doing a pretty good job. It's pulling in air from the sides here on both sides, pushing it into the CPU, that thing's super noisy. It's going to pull a ton of air as well through there, and the GPU also doesn't get super hot. We'll do a little gaming to test that out too. So now we'll test out this little connector thing, SATA connector. So we're going to plug this in here like that. Right. The nice thing is you can go USB-C or you can go USB-A. We'll just go USB-A. Okay, so we'll do a crystal disk mark test here. We have two different drives showing up here. I didn't even point it out earlier. D here, which you can see, I'll bring it down. You can see that D. That's actually this here. That was in there, and I was just doing tests. I forgot that I even put it in. And then I have this one here, which is the SATA connector. So that's the SATA connector. That one there has the other drive in it. So we'll come in here, we'll do D here. Oh, it's faster than I thought. Okay. So you're not going to put in like a Gen 4, Gen 5 drive. You're going to want to put in probably like just a Gen 3, probably a bulk drive, like a 4 terabyte or something like that, or 2 terabyte. That's actually running faster than I thought. So that's running faster than SATA speeds. So this here actually gives you pretty good speeds. And if you may think like, well, that's not very fast, 900 megabytes a second. That's very fast. That's faster than, almost twice as fast, if not twice as fast as a SATA SSD would go. You know, I actually mess around with some of these recently in some of my videos. Some of these really small form factor systems here. These things are tiny. They have a slot for this here, but they only have one M.2 slot. So I can only put one storage device inside that computer there. But if I put this in it, which I will put this in there, I can have more storage. It's fantastic. This is running exactly the speed that I was anticipating, 400 to 500 megabytes a second. That's SATA speeds. So it's working exactly as I would anticipate. Let's eject that. So I'm going to be cloning from that to that when I do the cloning feature, but right now I'm not on cloning. You can see right now I'm just on PC, so I'm just using it as a storage device right now. So it's not going to clone anything. It's not going to wreck my data. And you can see here they've already popped up, right? So I have a 4 terabyte and a 2 terabyte in there. Okay, so we have two 4 terabytes here, which in theory they should be able to clone because they're the same size. So I have it on clone now rather than the whatever it was, PC, I guess. So it's not showing up on the computer anymore, as you can see up here, right? It's done offline, so you don't even need a computer to do this. You can just take this with you and just plug it in, which is cool. So I think I hold it. There it goes. Yeah. It's working. So we just wait to see the lights to kind of do a thing. It says 25, 50, 75, 100. These are the same size. So we're just going to wait. You won't have to wait, but I'll just come back and see if they've cloned from one drive to the other. And then we'll know if it's a cool device or not. Okay, and just game testing basically to show here. The case is actually doing a really good job with keeping things cool. You can see here, don't worry about the performance in that. I'm at 4K, which is kind of crazy. But you can see here that the GPU, I just let it run for probably about 15 minutes just sitting here. You can see the GPU is only sitting about 74 degrees, and it's 100% max, just slamming that. And the CPU is also getting hit pretty hard here, and we're only at 63 degrees. So I mean, that's the video there, thanks to Temu. I mean, I spent the day building a computer, which is awesome. That's really, really fun. I spent the day also afterwards testing accessories, which is obviously really, really fun. I love to do this kind of stuff. So the takeaway here is, I mean, you can buy this type of stuff, like this type of stuff, from different stores, obviously. Like you can buy them in other, local stores. For example, I could walk into a local store. I could pick up similar types of things, but they're really expensive, to be honest. Like a case, honestly, like this style of case here, in Canada here would probably cost me $120 to $130, maybe $140. If you get it on sale, maybe $100 if you're lucky. You could probably get it for $100 Canadian. These things are like $20, $30, $40 Canadian easily. These heat sinks are really expensive here. Like I'm talking like, these are like $40 or $50 here. These Oracle things here, the cloning device here, I mean, these things also are pretty expensive. So the nice thing is here, this is all really good quality stuff, and you save money. So realistically, I think you look into it. Look into the app, kind of see what you can do there. I mean, you definitely download the Temu app, and I just use the app directly on my phone. I just went through and I kind of selected the ones that I want, and then I just checked them out, and then they kind of, I guess, sorted it out. It's a really streamlined approach. So, I mean, Temu has a lot of random stuff on it, like really everything. They're kind of like a bazaar for everything you can possibly imagine. And so when they asked me if I wanted to collaborate, being a computer guy, I said, what do they have for computer stuff? And they have all kinds of stuff. So I mean, if you're a computer person, definitely go in there, check it out. Looking for PC hardware, PC accessories, go in there, just check it out. Honestly, like, I mean, you can get this stuff that I have here. This is all fantastic stuff. I mean, I'm legitimately going to be using all of this stuff, right? The case is going to go to someone else. It's actually really nice. And then all these goodies here are for me. I mean, this is all stuff that I'm going to use. I'm not just saying that for the video. I'm not just saying, oh, it's a nice thing, and then I'm just going to like toss it in the drawer and never use it. I'm going to be using all this stuff. This is all really good stuff. So check it out, see what they have. Check out the app, the Temu app, see what they got there. And yeah, definitely worth considering.